Good morning. Thank you to everybody for coming. It is my honour to be your host today, along with my colleague Joni Reid, who's going to come to the stage as well. So we are to... Yeah, why not? Thank you, Yvette. So I'm Hamish. I used to be a diplomat, and I am now the candidate for Lincoln in the East Midlands. And Joni is our candidate in East Kilbride in Scotland. So we are two of the hard-working candidates trying to overturn a Tory majority. I'm facing a Conservative. Joni is facing an SNP MP. And we are incredibly glad to be joined by all of you today, but we are particularly glad to be joined by the person we hope will be the next Home Secretary, who's going to talk to you now, which is the terrific Yvette Cooper.
Thank you very much, Hamish and Joni. Thank you very much to Ibrahim for organising, and thank you very much for SME4LABOUR. Thank you to all of you for coming to enjoy Ronnie Scott's. I wish I was standing here singing Summertime or something cool like that, but perhaps you wouldn't enjoy it quite so much. It's fantastic to see so many people here, and thank you for really what this is about, which is supporting people like Hamish, Joni, some amazing parliamentary candidates, amazing Labour parliamentary candidates, many of whom are here today, many of whom are working immensely hard right across the country, and who would be such fantastic Labour MPs. And that's what all of this is about, our way to try and put an end to 14 years of Tory chaos and just the huge damage that they have done to the economy, to our communities, to our public services, to our future, and to have the chance to give our country its future back. And we've had, you couldn't really make the chaos up. We had, 5 Conservative Prime Ministers in the last 8 years, one of whom was beaten by letters. The other of whom takes pride that he beat the person who was beaten by letters. As Rachel will tell you, we have had 7 Tory Chancellors in the last 8 years, and we've had 8 Conservative Home Secretaries, 2 of whom were Suella Braverman, who was probably the only person who could make you want to bring back Priti Patel. But that is the level of the chaos that we've had. And actually we can't carry on like this, and our country can't carry on like this. And we can't just keep going on, staggering from one government press release to another without any sense of direction for the country. And that is what Keir and Keir's leadership is providing. Turning around the Labour Party, we have changed. And working with all of you, working with business on our plans for the economy, working with small business, making sure that you are at the heart of our plans for the economy for the future, the high street plans that Rachel and Angela and I were announcing, which was about scrapping and replacing the business rates that are dragging our high streets down, but also about putting neighbourhood police back on the beat in our communities, because if shoppers don't feel safe, they're not going to shop in town. And pulling those plans together with the 6 first steps that Keir announced last week. And this is where the question is, will I do a WES? And will I actually forget one of the steps? And so those steps, which are the first things that a Labour government would want to do, 40,000 extra NHS appointments a week so we can get those waiting lists down, so we can actually make sure that people are treated and are not suffering in pain. The 6,500 teachers in our schools and mental health professionals in our schools to give our kids their future back and their best chance. Plans on antisocial behaviour, cracking down on antisocial behaviour, those town centre plans with 13,000 more neighbourhood police back on our streets. A new border security command to actually have proper security at our borders in place of the Rwanda scheme. And then GB Energy, to make sure that we can not just bring energy bills down, but get energy security and meet our climate change obligations, and perhaps the one that underpins all of them, which is economic stability. And it is shocking that economic stability has become a radical thing to pledge. But that's where we are, but that's not where we need to be, because we can have so much better a future, but we can only do that if we can get brilliant people like Hamish and Joni and so many of our other Labour PCCs elected, if we can get Labour MPs across the country, and if we can get Keir Starmer walking into Downing Street, we can only do that with all of your support. We can only do all the things that we want to do as a Labour government, working in partnership with you, because if you want to do things as a mission-driven government, as Keir said, it's got to be everybody working together, not just what government does, but what all of us do. I'll just give you one last thought, which is the first election I ever campaigned in was in 1992. And I still remember April the 10th, 1992. And I never, ever want to feel like that again. When we worked so hard, we thought things were going to change, and then we didn't. So never forget that. It's possible, never, until all the votes are cast, nothing changes. And if we want change, we've got to vote for it, and we've got to get other people to vote for it, and that's why we've got to work together to do that. So have a fantastic time today. There will be a karaoke later on. You can choose your song. Please enjoy your lunchtime. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Yvette. I hope there isn't a karaoke, but there will be some fantastic music later on. There are a few of us here, not just me and Joni, who are parliamentary candidates. And Yvette has to leave because she has a vote in the House, and there will be some MPs coming in and out, but all of us who are candidates are really keen to engage with SMEs. So I'm just going to point a few of them out and then let you get back to mingling. So I can see Jake Richards somewhere in the haze, who might put his hand up. He is somewhere, he's disappeared. Jake Richards of Rother Valley. There's Steve Yem somewhere over there for Mansfield. And there's me and Joni. Please do come say hello, because we would definitely love to chat. Lunch is going to be at 12, and then there'll be some more speeches from 1, and there'll be music throughout. So thank you very much for coming.
In this absolutely iconic venue, and it is such a treat to be here. In fact, I mean, a genuine treat. I snuck down from Scotland, and because, you know, the road to Labour government runs through Scotland, so I had to sneak down, take a day off, didn't tell anyone, and then looked up, and there's the deputy leader of the Labour Party who's running our election campaign. So I'm absolutely busted. But I promise, Jackie, I'll be back on the doorsteps tomorrow. We've heard a lot already about the Tories and the chaos that they've created, but a big shout out to any SMEs and everyone from Scotland, because in addition to the chaos created by the Tories, we've had 17 years of additional second government chaos, working and operating under the threat of independence, no economic strategy, and just policy failure after policy failure. So it's been incredibly difficult. And I think that the SNP and the Labour governments have a remarkably similar approach to government. They're driven by ideology, with absolutely no reference to the real world, to a long-term vision and strategy and what will work. And we, hopefully, if we're fortunate enough to get into government, we'll operate on being responsible, being receptive, and that's what this event here is all about today. We want to have a real, genuine dialogue with SME. We know they're the backbone of the economy, and that's why there are so many of us in the room today, candidates, MPs. I'm not going to do a shout out because I can't see a thing. The light is very, very bright in my eyes. But the guy at the forefront of this dialogue, of creating a relationship between the Labour Party and the SME, is Ibrahim, who is a remarkable man and does a huge amount. Not only does he organise everything, but he has been running about all morning, sorting out your tables, writing the names on the backs. I mean, he really does a phenomenal job. So can I introduce the chair and founder of SME4LABOUR, Ibrahim Douglas.
Thank you, Johnny. Thank you, Hamish. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you're all enjoying your time here at Ronnie Scott's. It's fantastic to see so many friends here for SME4LABOUR's annual lunch. If Fred is hearing me from Ronnie Scott's, I'm calling it an annual lunch at Ronnie Scott's. So hopefully Fred will allow us to use the venue again next year. And what an incredible venue, Ronnie Scott's Jazz Club. Some of you may know Miles Davis's iconic album, Kind of Blue. But today, looking around, Ronnie Scott seems kind of red. I thought I'd break my welcome speech into a few stages. A few steps, if you like. I went for 6 steps. Can't think why. Step 1, economic stability. The bedrock of any plan, as Rachel Reeves constantly reminds us. It is generous sponsors and partners who make great SME4LABOUR events like today possible. We are enormously grateful for the support of Checker Trade, Alika Bank, Canada Consultancy, Imperial Brand Steve Rooney, and Martin Day, and all their guests and friends. Please join me in a round of applause to thank them. Step 2, cutting waiting times. This speech will be short. Because you all know it is really frustrating to keep waiting by a short guy in a suit who doesn't know when to stop. Unlike the Prime Minister, I will be leaving the stage in a couple of minutes, to be followed by more experienced speakers, our incredible speakers today. Step 3, border security. We don't let just anyone into these events. Those of you who have made it through today are here thanks to the incredible teams at SME4LABOUR and the amazing staff of Ronnie Scott's. I can't mention everyone by name, but you can all see that we have a room packed with people working in SMEs all over the country. With Labour MPs and Labour supporters, we're especially delighted to welcome so many parliamentary candidates here today. Please connect with them and make plans to help their campaigns. It's a tough job, but they are the people who will deliver a Labour victory. So please get out to their constituencies and give them your support. Step 4, energy. There's lots of great Labour energy in the room. In fact, we are lit. I am proud that the SME4LABOUR is a powerhouse now within our party. We advocate for small businesses, their owners, and their employees, the engine of the UK economy. Our calendar of packed events have supercharged opportunities for dialogue, for collaboration, and for the exchange of ideas. To keep the energy high and sustainable, please consider becoming a partner for our events at Labour Conference in Liverpool in September. We know that Labour's economic plans, like the New Deal for working people, will light up this nation again after 14 years of Tory power failure. Step 5. This is the one West Streeting will never forget. Crack down on antisocial behaviour. It's only lunchtime, but I've got my eye on a few of you. I think James is over there, Gregor is over there. And when our speakers cross the floor to the stage, no shouting, no oohs. It's not PMQs. Step 6, recruiting teachers. There are 120 of you here in the room now. You can all become teachers. How? Every time you talk to a voter, deliver this important lesson. Labour has changed. Labour stands ready to lead this country in a better direction. Every day, the Tories are showing why the voters have graded them inadequate. We know that this country deserves better. The Labour Party is a brilliant leader and an amazing senior management team. And if the public votes for a Labour government soon, we are going to make this country outstanding again. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ibrahim. That was really funny. I enjoyed that. So next up is someone who's made today possible through their sponsorship. So thank you. And it's the CEO of Checker Trade. Welcome to the stage, Jambu.
Come back at my school music lessons here. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for being here today, and it's a pleasure to be here with you all today. Thank you for your support of this amazing event. It's really heartening for us to see politicians and prospective parliamentarians engage with businesses directly, supporting SMEs who are really the lifeblood of our economy. I guess the problem with gold sponsors at political lunches is they often want to sell you their wares. Thankfully, for all of us in the room, our goals are actually very aligned, and that's not what we're here to do today. Checkatrade's goals are really aligned because of who we are and our history. Checkatrade's a 25-year-old British economic success story. We started as one of those SMEs in 1998 when a tornado devastated and struck a tiny seaside town in West Sussex. Rogue tradespeople flooded into the town, botching jobs and ripping off consumers. And so we started a directory of local tradespeople who were checked and vetted for quality. And that's the story of who we are. And we've never lost sight of that simple dream in our local community. And from those humble beginnings, our goals and aspirations have led us to become the UK's leading destination for finding quality tradespeople. We also have very similar interests and goals in terms of the future. Our goals are to help create jobs, spread new trade skills, spur SME growth, and make sure that that impacts all parts of Britain. We want to help create safe and happy homes, improve lives and livelihoods, and build communities that are greener and more forward-thinking. We want to help build a thriving business environment that's fair and a competitive tech ecosystem that is really the envy of the world. Today, we're trusted by millions of homeowners because nobody checks trades like Checkatrade, and we're so confident in the quality of the members on our platform that we guarantee jobs up to £1,000, so that in the rare event that something does go wrong, we help make it right. In 2024, we have around 50,000 tradespeople who are members of Checkatrade, and we represent them and the SMEs that they run as well. And for us, we know that from builders to window cleaners, landscapers to carpenters, they are really the lifeblood of the economy, and our goal is to really help them be successful. That works well, largely because customers also trust us to help. Consumers do about 3 million jobs a year through the Checkatrade platform, and we've delivered about £7 billion of economic value through UK SMEs last year alone. But we can be more, and that's why I joined. I became CEO of Checkatrade just over 6 months ago after a career in venture capital and technology investing. And after years of building other businesses, it became really clear to me that there was an opportunity to help grow and scale a business that was solving real world problems for customers across the UK. And I really believe in the power of technology to help drive that and accelerate that change. I've seen that time and again, and my vision for Checkatrade is to become a world-class platform that makes finding and securing a reliable tradesperson easier, making it easier to find secure payment, help drive even more value to tradespeople across the UK. I also believe in the power of technology to help make British homes safe, happy, and functional, so we can unlock how we care for them, from fixing things in home improvements to, I think, a much needed push on decarbonization and better energy efficiency that can support even more economic growth. One of our goals as a business is to help increase the EPC rating of every British home to C or above in the near future. At the same time, we want to provide trades with more work and stability and tools to run their business, boosting deprived local economies across the country and encouraging more people to join the trades. We've got an R&D center here in London, but our team is spending a lot of time outside of our offices and pounding the streets across the UK to really understand your constituencies, their needs, and to really help recruit and foster SME growth across all parts of the country. Particularly enthused by Labour's new plan for house building to deliver 1.5 million new homes by 2030. It's a welcome commitment, and it would not only put more roofs over people's heads, but help fuel investment and skills necessary to drive that. The trade industry has a really critical role to play, and we're very eager to help support and represent as many of them as possible. By working together, we can ensure that there's sufficient trade capability to support those goals and to help meet the country's needs. Checkatrade's also very committed to addressing the industry's skills shortage. It's the number one thing we're hearing on a day-to-day basis today. We have an excess of consumer demand and not enough trades to actually supply and do the work. And these are jobs where people can build new skills, run their own business and build control over their own future. We've provided over 500 schools across Britain with career toolkits to encourage students to enter the trades, and used our network to support learners in training apprenticeships. We also really welcome the Labour Party's promise of delivering regional skills with the establishment of Skills England and the rollout of the Technical Excellence Colleges. And together, we're really confident that we can support that shared initiative. Regardless of the election, Check and Trade and our members will be working closely together with cross-party stakeholders to make sure that growing need for local skills is met, and that Britain can really benefit from that human capital required to get back to building. And that's why we're so enthusiastic to be supporters here, and also very eager to support in any way we can going forward. Setting up the UK for long-term success will require great ideas, real action, and coming together of policymakers and business, all shapes and sizes to support that. And I'm keen for the Labour Party, as well as business voices in the room, to consider Check and Trade a partner for that future, to help align on our shared goals and deliver job creation, household aspiration, and spreading opportunity all across the UK. Thank you so much.
I think we now have a video from David Evans, who is the General Secretary of the Labour Party and who can't be here, sadly, because of a funeral, but we've got a video message from him.
Hello everyone. I hope you're having a fantastic time. You deserve to. I'm so sorry I'm not able to be with you today due to a funeral. But SME4LABOUR is a brilliant organisation and it's vital for our party. Thanks in no small part to your work, I think we know more now about SMEs and are getting better at engaging with the sector than we ever have. But there's more to do. My introduction to the sector was sharp and brutal. Back in 1996, as Northwest Regional Director, I put on a gala dinner at Granada Studios with Tony Blair. We had 400 guests, raised a lot of money, a roaring success, or so I thought. The next day, I got a call from someone who'd been there. I didn't know them, but I assumed they'd phoned me to congratulate me. Far from it. Len Collinson tore into me. He'd brought 10 clients, all small businesses, and he had a catalogue of complaints, including that the dinner had overrun massively on a weeknight, which he felt was disrespectful to business owners. And he was right. But the best decision I ever took was to then go and see Len and listen to his advice about business. He became my mentor, my friend, and taught me a huge amount about business. But it was only when I set up my own business in 2001 that I really learned about it. I thought I knew a lot. I spent my budget on a flashy brochure and direct mailed it far and wide. I sat by the phone expecting it to ring. It didn't. It didn't ring for 3 months. So with no budget left, I made a list of the people I knew who I thought we could help, and I rang them. We got 1 job, 2 jobs, then more, and I worked for the company for 20 years. I learned that business is about hard work, personal sacrifice and risk, building great teams, investing in relationships, and doing everything you say you'll do. And winning political campaigns are just the same. I have enduring respect for people who run small and medium-sized enterprises. I try to live those values in my work as well as General Secretary. I know the event is going to be a huge success. I'm really sorry not to be with you, and I look forward to working with you to achieve the historic victory that, thanks to Keir's leadership and your support, is within our grasp. But you would expect me not to finish without an ask. To make history together at the next election, we need your time, we need your voice, and yes, if you can spare any more, your money. But enjoy the event.
I'm afraid Wes Streeting is not able to be with us because, as you might have seen, the infected blood inquiry has hit Parliament in quite a big way. So we have something even better. Better in two respects. Firstly, Wes Streeting is not a black belt in karate, unlike our next speaker, nor, as far as I know, can he play the bagpipes. Who we have today is the absolutely inspirational Lord Iain McNicol, Shadow Business in the Lords, former General Secretary. This man knows more about the Labour Party than the rest of us have ever forgotten. So thank you very much for coming to the stage, Lord Iain.
Unfortunately, I know more about losing elections than winning elections. So I'm not going to take up a lot of your time. So first of all, thank you. Thank you to Ronnie Scott's for hosting us. What a fantastic venue being here. It's going to be a little bit strange when we walk out and the sun is still shining, but it'll be fine. Just want to pick up on a couple of things. So, aspiration. I don't think as Labour politicians we talk about aspiration enough. What we've seen, and you've heard the stories, and you know it, and you've felt it, and you've seen it in your communities of where the Conservatives have taken us over the last 14 years. It's not been about the future. And one of the things that I think is so important that we need to tell the story of, and we've got some fantastic parliamentary candidates in the room. Can all of the parliamentary candidates, there's a lot of people who are here from small business for the first time who don't know you. Can all of the parliamentary candidates just stand up and give everyone a wave, because there's a little bit of networking as soon as I stop speaking. So can all of the parliamentary candidates, right, come on. So after the event, if you've not had a chance, you can all sit down now. So if you've not had a chance, please do take some time to go and speak to them and just have a conversation with them, because I look around the room and the hard work and the hours of door knocking and leaflet delivering that you're putting in, that's the work that will make a difference, and the members and the activists and the trade unions will be part of that. But the commitment that you've all shown is incredible, and I know how tough it is. But aspiration is what is sort of inside me. I didn't go to university. Went to technical college, and it was in the 80s, early 90s, and it was that change, and you could feel it across the world. You could feel it across the globe. The world was changing. Mandela was coming out. The Berlin Wall was coming down. We as a country have sort of stepped back from that and stepped out of the world and out of the globe. And I think there's a huge opportunity for us as a political party, as a movement, as individuals, to offer that hope, not just to the young people, not just to people, my age, but across the UK, and say, do you know what? We can be something better. We can be something different. So post-COVID, post-financial crisis, post-Brexit, who are we? And I still think that story is to be told. And Keir does it, Rachel does it, Johnny Reynolds does it, Wes does it, but I think all of us need to do it. And it's so easy to be pessimistic about the future. I'm standing on the stage at Ronnie Scott's. I've never believed in my life that I would be standing here. But we have an opportunity at the next election, whether that's in the next few months or whether it's October or November, to change this country and to make a difference for our families and our communities. The policies have been developed, they've been working through. Did a business breakfast this morning with Gregor and with his team. 15 businesses in the room. There were a couple of SMEs, but more of the bigger ones. They were keen to know about what Labour is going to offer, about stability, about infrastructure, about growth, about how we deliver for the future and for this country. And SMEs, you all know this, play a huge part in doing that. So if we want to change the country and we want to save the planet through Scope 3 reporting, through environmental changes, you're all going to play your part within that. But the first thing we need to do is do what I never was able to do as General Secretary in 2015 and 2017, and that's win an election. Because only only in power can you make the changes that makes a difference to the community that I came from, and change people's lives. So, I'm Abraham, James, thank you. To the team, Manuela, the team here, thank you very much. But enjoy and spend some time with our parliamentary candidates, and let's get out there and change the country. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Iain, particularly for stepping in at short notice. We have another one of our brilliant sponsors is coming up to speak, and that's Sophie Hossack, the Head of Partnerships at Alika Bank. Thank you so much for coming, Sophie.
No, I feel like I'm also Ronnie Scott's on the stage. I hadn't really realised that before, so now I feel even more intimidated, so thank you for that. No, it's really great to be here, and we're Alika Bank. You might have seen our orange bowler hats dotted around, so next time you see one of those out in the wild, hopefully you'll remember who we are. I'm not going to talk too much about Alika today. I'm going to talk more about our customers, so established SMEs. A question I often get asked are, how do we define who established SMEs are? And these are medium-sized businesses, typically with 5 to 250 employees. And in all honesty, there are several dozen of them in every single town around the UK. You know, when you're driving, and if you're anything like me, you may get lost quite a few times in places you don't know. And you have to do a U-turn in an industrial estate. Well, those businesses in the industrial estate, those small factories, warehouses, wholesalers, those are established SMEs. And over this summer, if you're having a staycation or if you're having a UK city break and you choose to stay in a family-run hotel or have dinner in the local pub or restaurant, those are established SMEs as well. So this group, they make up barely a tenth of the overall UK SME community. So barely a tenth, so a few 100,000 in the 5 million. But they are disproportionately important to our economy and our society. Actually, massively disproportionate. They make up over 2/3 of all SME employment and turnover. And even more in the lending that happens and the borrowing that happens that drives our productivity and jobs. And levelling up, or whatever you choose to call it, just isn't going to happen if established SMEs don't thrive. And I'm really lucky in my job. I honestly have a fantastic job. I'm so fortunate. I get to talk to business owners every single week, and they say really similar things about their experiences and the struggles that they're having. And some things that are coming across really loud and clear are they're at real risk of being left behind, notably by the big banks. So we know that there is a well-publicised struggles when it comes to SME lending. We know that the banks have left our towns. You know, they've closed the branches in the high streets. They've removed the relationship management teams that make the lending decisions, and they've removed their support. But more recently, last year in 2023, it was staggering. Over 100,000 SMEs had their bank accounts closed. So it actually wasn't just Mr. Farage who got debanked. Now, at Alika, we're focused on this segment. We're passionate about them, and we are banking this underserved community. And that's made us actually the UK's fastest growing fintech ever, which is just phenomenal, looking after these people who need our help the most. And if you've done it, as lots of you have in the room, or if you haven't and you've had loved ones who have had their own business, you know how stressful it is. You know how grueling it is. Concerns around cash flow, sleepless nights, it's real. It's genuinely real. And work-life balance goes straight out the window. So this group of people, these businesses, they really do deserve our support and our respect and our recognition. So Ibrahim, thank you so much to you and to SME4LABOUR for putting established businesses at the heart of policy making. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much from Sophie. So that brings proceedings to an end for the speeches, but there's going to be some live music shortly, and you're all very welcome to stay. We're really keen, those of us who are candidates, to get to know as many of you as possible. I just want to say a few thank yous, and just before I do, say something on behalf of, I think, all of the candidates who are here, which is, wherever we are in the country, Scotland, England, Wales, it doesn't matter, the number one issue that we all hear about on the doorstep all of the time is the cost of living crisis. And we know that we need to see growth, we need higher wages, and that is going to come from the SME sector more than any other sector. I'm really glad in Lincoln to have Siemens, to have a semiconductor firm, big companies, but the truth is, even in very capital intensive companies, not that many people are employed, and even if they are paid good wages, that doesn't do as much as is needed to really lift people in Lincoln out of the conditions that they're currently in. So we are all hyper-focused, as you will have seen from Rachel Reeve's speeches, and I'm sure you will have found from talking to us this morning, we are hyper-focused on trying to get growth in our areas. So if you have an interest in an area, please do come talk to us, because we are desperate to work with you. So thank you very much for coming. We really do profoundly appreciate it. I want to say a few thank yous. Firstly, to Ibrahim, as all things SME for Labour. He's been an absolute institution. Me and Joni are incredibly grateful to have been given this opportunity, as I know are all the other candidates who are in the room. So can we do a quick round of applause? And can I thank our sponsors as well, because without Alaka Bank, Checkatrade, Candor Consulting, Imperial Brands and Oasis Associates, we wouldn't be here in this great room today. So thank you very much again to you. And my last thanks is to the brilliant people at Ronnie Scott's. I also didn't expect to be emceeing at Ronnie Scott's, and I honestly think if my siblings saw me, they'd think this is a very disappointing approach to Ronnie Scott's, but the music will be on shortly, I promise. So thank you very much, in particular to Fred, the Managing Director, who's taken such good care of us today. And thank you, enjoy the music.